Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a bit of an impromptu stream as we look at the markets that are rebounding nicely this week after a pretty poor Monday, a pretty tough November, definitely a tough start to Q4, but things are starting to look a bit brighter, so we thought we'd jump on, look at the markets, look at the charts, and look at the news stories that are driving this price move this week. So if we start with Bitcoin is up today so far. It's up about 1.5%, up 10% since Monday's low, reaching up as high as 12%. We got rejected off 94k earlier, but with the US markets just opening today, it's likely going to be a volatile session as a lot of things are changing in the crypto market. It's been a bit hectic in the news front over the last, I'd say, a few weeks. To be fair, we've had a lot of FUD as Bitcoin crashed down to the 80k level. We are now obviously much higher than that, looking a bit healthier, and the altcoin market is up 8% so far this week, with the majority of today still to go. If we have a look over at the stock market, let's have a quick look at what's happening. The Dow Jones is opening kind of flat, the S&P 500 flat, and the Nasdaq about the same. The Russell, bit of green in the Russell, up about 1/3%, so about 0.3% so far. But like I say, the market's just opened in the last few minutes. We have Tesla up over 1.5% and Coinbase showing some strength as well. With the US session just opening, it's always quite volatile, but what we did get in the last hour is another new all-time high for silver. If you didn't catch our video last night on silver and gold, check that out. We look at targets, we look at what's driving price, and as expected, silver continuing to show strength today. Silver prices just absolutely flying right now. Some of the premiums on British silver are up over 65% to buy physical right now. That doesn't look like it's slowing down either. Alright, let's have a quick look at what is driving price over the last couple of days. We've seen a nice rebound. When we were down on Monday, we got down as low as kind of the high $83,000 level. A lot of people were then calling for 74k. If you remember, if you've been tuning in, that is a key level back in time. You can see it was the high back in March 2024 during the regional banking crisis. We then had a bit of resistance in October before we got the Trump election news, the Trump win, and Bitcoin flew through 74k, coming back, falling just short of it back in April with the tariff drama, and so far we've not fell much lower than 80k. Now, what is clear from the charts, if you look on a zoomed out perspective, I think the 2-week chart shows this a bit better, is we are in a clear uptrend still. Despite all the negativity, despite the bearishness, we are in an uptrend. We've got the low, higher low again. So as long as we don't drop below 74,800, we will continue the higher lows, which is very bullish. Alright, let's have a look at some news stories, see what's going on around the market. We have this. This is basically me just kind of clout chasing a little bit. We did say ages ago that all the big banks would eventually offer Bitcoin services to its clients. Back in 2024, Vanguard adamantly said they would not offer the Bitcoin ETF to their consumers. Obviously, we are now at a point where consumers are demanding access to Bitcoin. The massive fiat debasement trade is in full swing, and Vanguard have capitulated. Vanguard eventually gave in, and they have begun offering Bitcoin ETF exposure to their clients this week. Vanguard operates an AUM of something like $10 trillion, so this isn't an insignificant move. Matt Hogan is the CTO, I think, of BitMEX, so he's quite a big player in the space, and he tweeted yesterday saying that the sound you hear is multi-trillion-dollar markets opening up to crypto. We've got Bank of America announcing that they're going to recommend an allocation of 4% to crypto clients starting in January. We've got Vanguard offering exposure, and a few weeks ago we learned that JP Morgan is issuing Bitcoin-backed bonds. Bear in mind, Jamie Dimon has repeatedly said that Bitcoin has no value. Watch what they do, not what they say. I like this tweet. So this is a really important tweet, and this is maybe why we are seeing people so excited about the Vanguard news, because it is just another ETF allocator. But what's really bullish about Vanguard is, as Fred Krueger says, is Vanguard's actually one of the biggest places for passive flows. So people don't need to necessarily choose to allocate to the Bitcoin ETF, but through their pensions, through their 401ks, it'll automatically flow into Bitcoin. So actually Vanguard is a big deal. It's a huge deal for passive income, passive flows in the States, and that's why it's been greeted with such fanfare and people are really excited about this announcement. We've got Jack Mallers. So Jack Mallers actually does a decent show. It's a bit in depth, but basically what he shows is right now is not a time to be bearish. We've been saying it for weeks. We've been saying it for months. People love to jump up and down when we stay bullish when the market is selling off. But ultimately, Jack Mallers kind of sums it up. The US cannot afford falling asset prices. QT is over. QE, deregulation, stimulus is all coming. It's taking a little longer than expected, but it is all coming. And then Vanguard is now also offering crypto index funds. So they started with Bitcoin yesterday. They're already going after index funds. Quite an interesting development. All right, and last news story, ADP private payrolls were actually down 32% today. So it was expected a 10,000 job hike. It was actually a 32,000 cut, and that is bullish for rate cuts. Now, almost a 90% chance of a rate cut at next week's Fed meeting. So all in all, this is bullish for crypto. It's bullish for asset prices. You can see Bitcoin looks pretty bullish on the 12-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, it looks like that initial dip, which we see a lot of the time when the US stock market opens. It sells off and then immediately corrects. It does look like Bitcoin is going to head back up and attack that $94,000 level. Let's check in on Bitcoin futures as well. Bitcoin futures trading just slightly behind spot. That's always bullish. So if CME is ahead of spot, it means there's a lot more leverage, institutional leverage in the system. If spot's ahead of CME, that's really bullish. That means it's spot buyers that are driving the price appreciation. And Ethereum, absolute flying. So Ethereum got down as low as $2,600 on Friday the 21st. Over the weekend, we got as low as $2,700. We are now up $3,120 currently, with the massive, is it the Fusaka upgrade going live later today. A massive update. What that's going to mean in particular for onboarding new users is that people can register for a wallet on Ethereum just with their Google sign-in or their email address. They don't need the 12-word seed phrase. So I think global adoption will be kind of helped by that move. So all in all, market's looking pretty bullish. Is there any standouts right now? Chainlink, the ETF, went live today. Chainlink up over 8% so far today. Nice double bottom there as well. So a pretty easy trade, that one. Likely heading probably the next short-term target, 1650. So a nice $2 move. And there's still some lags. You know, CRV still down at the bottom of the range. There's a few others. Arbitrum down at 21 cents still. This is the hilarious thing, is what happens is when markets do pump. So I think like most alts done like 8 to 12% yesterday. Is a lot of people panic and then FOMO in, and they chase it. And what I mean by that is they maybe use leverage or they maybe just chase gains. Arbitrum's still down. This is August, so Arbitrum's still down 65%, and that's not even getting close to the December 2024 high. It's down 82%. So a massive move. What is that back to here? A 460% move to get back to the December 2024 prices. That was 12 months ago. It's a 460% move. So you don't need high leverage. Even you don't need any leverage, but if you go use some, if you use 10x leverage, that's a 4,500% gain. Just crazy. So I think what people need to remember is prices are way down, a lot lower than they probably expected they would be at this point in the cycle. We've spoke about why. We spoke about the reasons why to death. But there's so much upside. And if we look at Arbitrum, that doesn't even get us back up to these $2 plus levels. SWI, another one that was absolutely destroyed recently, starting to make some gains. Looks like it was just rejected off this wick low. So it'll be interesting to see how the market plays out over the next couple of days. Obviously, all these macro events are bullish for price right now. We've got the new Fed chair probably going to be, is it Keith Hassett or Hassent? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he's an ex-Coinbase exec, and he's going to be in charge of the Fed's monetary policy. I wonder which way he's going to sway. To be honest, it feels like a bit of a crypto coup in the US government, which I am all for. DXY also starting to roll over, so this is something nobody's really been paying attention to for a few months, mostly because it was going up, but it does look like this will head back down. I expect when it does hit this trend line again, it probably breaks, and that's where we get the flush down. You can see that markets are already pricing in the rate cut next week. The 3-month yield dropping quite fast over the last couple of days, down nearly 1% today. This basically tells you the market's already pricing in rate cuts. The fact that the 2 years down quite heavy as well, 3.48%, that's where policy is heading. And I think rate cuts, they'll do a 25 basis point next week. That's fine. They should do 50, but they won't. They'll do 25. But all that means is next year they're going to have to speed up the rate cuts. So the liquidity landscape has changed for at least the medium term. More liquidity is coming out of the system over the next 12 months, and there's kind of nothing anyone can do to stop that. I do think it's not going to be great for everyone, but it'll be good for assets, it'll be good for gold, silver, crypto, and we're likely to see a crazy move for the markets in 2026. Let's have a look at some altcoins. XRP, another one that's kind of still down pretty heavily. I mean, back to all-time high, 68% move. I think XRP flies way past all-time high the next time we get up there. And for everybody that keeps DMing me, asking me, have my targets changed? No, my targets don't change. The only way you would reduce the target for me is if I lower my average buy price quite dramatically. If that happens, then obviously I can reduce my target so I don't have to wait as high to get out of my position. Alright, let me try and do something here. Make sure to like the stream if you like these afternoon sessions. We could do more of them. Drop some likes. There's only 2 likes on the stream, so let's see if we can get it up to double digits at least. We can make this a regular thing if if we start to see the likes go up. Let's check in on gold. Gold up at 4,200. Wouldn't surprise me if we get a new all-time high in gold over the next 2 weeks with that rate cut. I don't see Kieran saying it's priced in. I don't think it necessarily is priced in yet. I do think the markets will price it in. What will be interesting though is what happens after. So the press conference next week will be important, the dot plot will be important, and then the announcement of the new Fed chair will be really important in shaping how liquidity is going to look in 2026. But the fact that QT has ended, that basically means the central bank balance sheet will stop going down, and that is bullish for asset prices. This will start to level off, and we won't get that liquidity suck out of the market. Gold looks like it's pricing in. Silver probably puts in another all-time high day after day this week. Interesting, these volatile moves. Just looks like massive entities trying to force price back down, and it just gets bought up. And when you check in, I was showing this on stream last night, but when you actually look at some of the prices, let's have a look. Silver's just insane just now. So yeah, it's gone up since last night. It's gone up by about $50 since £50 since last night. So when you actually work this out, it actually works out, I think it's like $88 an ounce that price is. So when you're buying silver in the UK, you just need to be mindful of you're not getting spot price. Yeah, current price is $58. This works out to be about $85 an ounce. So you just need to be careful when you're buying silver. But yeah, there's a massive rush on silver. Check out the video last night because it covers kind of all the reasons why. And for anyone that's not tuned into our streams over the last couple of days, we are now offering some one-to-one calls with myself. So that would be either 30 minutes or 60-minute call. The link is below. I'll try and drop it in the chat as well. But basically, you can come on, you can ask me any question you like. You can ask me about your investment strategy, about your long-term goals, what I think about your portfolio. I can answer any questions that you may have. It's a 30-minute call, which is normally just like a quick call to ask a key question about the markets, about an investment, something like that. And then we have the one-to-one, which is an hour strategy call. It's slightly different to the other one-to-ones we offer. So the other one-to-ones are more deep, in-depth portfolio one-to-one session with Deck and Dawn. This is simply more about answering some questions, helping you with something that you're struggling with, helping you answer some burning questions you might have. So the link's in the chat if you want to book any of them. My calendar's open, but we have had quite a few spots taken. So yeah, check out the link and let me know what you want answered, what you want help with. It can be setting up TradingView, showing you how to open and close trades. It can be showing you how to set a DCA strategy. It can be anything like that. Or it could be something totally different. It could be about macro. It can be about Dubai. Whatever you want to know about, we will cover. Let's have a look at how Bitcoin's faring in the first 30 minutes of US trading. Just sideways, as always. I do think the noise around MicroStrategy will start dying off. It'll be interesting to see the development of that over the next couple of weeks. That 15th of January deadline is probably the one red flag on the horizon, I would like to say, that MSCI might exclude MicroStrategy from the index. I don't think that's going to happen, but it'll definitely be used by market makers to bring volatility into the market. I expect, somebody brought up the stock market, I saw in the chat. I do expect the stock market to do quite well over the next couple of weeks, especially because of this new $2,500 check. I think it's that, no, it's $1,250 check that every child in the US born is going to get invested for them, and their parents will be able to top it up. I think that'll do well for stocks. It basically creates a constant bid in the stock market, so I expect that'll do pretty well. Microsoft down 3%, nothing too dramatic. I do think Apple's all-time high again today. Let's see, Robinhood, Coinbase up 3%, and Google just retreating. If you've not checked out Gemini 3, it's absolutely insane, and that is why Google surged to a new all-time high last week. Alright, that is all for this afternoon. Quick update, the bull run is back. Bitcoin is looking bullish, crypto is looking bullish. We have loads of tailwinds, as we spoke about all year. Fed meeting next week could be exciting and bring some more volatility. But that is all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to drop a like, check out the video from last night on gold and silver, and of course check out those one-to-one links as well. And I'll be back later this week. Catch you then.